Shut up and sit down.
Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
Just like riding a bike. Ride.
Coffee is the fuel of the modern world, so go grab a cup guilt-free and get working smarter and faster.
You are listening to the Dialed Podcast with Matt Legrand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von Turing. Everyone should believe in something. I believe I will have another coffee.
Man, I love coffee. It tastes so good, it makes me feel good.
There was a study that showed that if you drank 12 highly caffeinated energy drinks within a few hours, you would most likely die.
Just ride like a bike. Just ride like a bike.
Hell yeah. Cancer-free, sharp brain, plenty of energy, terrible breath. Just conclusion, coffee is the shit.
Hi, welcome back to the Dial Podcast. I am Jake Von Turing, and I'm here with Matt Legrand.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? You guys are looking pretty reasonable.
Reasonable's good. I'll take
Reasonable.
reasonable.
You're looking reasonable.
For early February, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
To his left, Evan Price.
We're all drinking the same thing basically
Sponsor,
today.
Kirkland.
Our number one sponsor, Kirkland Sparkling Water. Thank you very much.
Number one sponsor.
We have two different flavors here. We have lemon and what is Jake got over
Jake's
there?
got lime.
Lime. There you go.
Yep.
They're two primary flavors.
And some coffee, too.
Can't go wrong.
I got coffee. I offered you guys coffee, but you said no. So
I know.
Just
I
me
already
drinking
had coffee
today.
today. I didn't really need coffee, you know?
Yeah, this one I got over here, I might as well put a nipple on. I've been nursing this thing all day long. So thankfully, this Contigo thing keeps it nice and hot.
It's turned into a cold brew by now, right?
No, it keeps it hot. These things work awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
How long can that stay warm for?
I don't know. I put it in probably 4 hours ago, and it's still pretty hot in there.
Really? I might need to pick up one of those things.
$20 for a pair of them at Costco.
Go
get them.
Styrofoam doesn't keep it very warm. That's what I found.
Yeah. And sitting across from Matt Legrand, Lance Hepler. Oh, wait.
Crickets.
Wait a minute.
Crickets.
Where is he?
Do we have cricket noises?
I thought it was especially quiet here
Crickets
when we
and
got here earlier.
rattlesnakes and
Rattlesnakes.
dogs barking.
He actually is hiking in a canyon right now.
With rattlesnakes.
With rattlesnakes and a dog.
So here's the thing for this podcast. Lance may or may not, we're not sure yet, give us a call on Skype.
You have to listen to the entire one to see if Lance will at
stay
some point
tuned.
text us in.
Stay tuned in to find out. So today, let's get into our back pedal and some other stuff. Evan, you want to give us your back pedal? Get us started?
We had an awesome, Jake and I had an awesome ride together on Saturday.
That was very cool.
Yeah, we got to ride with a few of the juniors.
Right.
Locally, the triathlon squad, the Draft Legal Triathlon Squad, Maddie Wick, Elijah, and the
Maria.
Yeah, Maria, the
Maria
exchange
Diaz.
student that's living with Jake.
Yeah. They're all going to do road racing too. So
yes,
they're
they are
not just triathletes. Evan.
Exactly.
Don't try. Exactly.
I'm not going to
leave
put
that
them
out.
in a box, I promise. But I have also promoted that all of them road race because that is a crucial part of their development for sure.
Yeah.
But a funny part of this ride was there's a little roundabout that we hit, and of course when you're trying to show somebody how to do something, the first thing you shouldn't do is do it incorrectly. So I was with Elijah, and Elijah's bike handling is coming along pretty well. So I wanted him to take this roundabout at a pretty good solid race pace. The ground's wet, probably not a great idea for me, especially on my cross bike. Dipped into the corner and slid out nicely. Got a nice little strawberry on my hip this week.
Was this just you and Elijah? After we parted ways?
Yeah, well, it was when we were coming up towards before the trail with that big roundabout in the condo area by the river there.
Okay.
Yeah. We come around the roundabout, and I just pedaled just a second too early and clip a little bit and slide out.
Oops.
But it was one of those like smooth slide outs though, where if you're not looking, real close, you wouldn't even know it happened. You just kind of jump back on the bike real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ouch.
But what was great for Elijah there is I got to say, like, you want to know exactly how not to do that corner. Watch this.
Right on.
Good.
But
Good
yeah,
experience.
outside of that, it was an absolute. I mean, for how bad the weather was, just constant kind of raining. It was a lot of fun, and they all enjoyed it and had smiles on their faces. So
yeah,
it was good.
Good times.
Yep. And then me and Matt ran together on Sunday.
Lakeside long run.
It was an awesome Lakeside long run. We had a good group out.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful day.
It was.
It was a really nice day.
It was. It was nice and foggy in the morning. Then the fog cleared, and it was just nice and sunny.
Yeah, there was. I'll get into mine in a minute, but I was on my ride, and there was times where you'd come out of the fog, and then the sun was hitting, and all of a sudden you have this bright blue sky. But then you'd have like the steam coming off the asphalt because it was starting to evaporate. It was just kind of really neat. It was very cinematic looking.
Yeah, it's like signaling the potential end of winter, just like the fog's
Too
clearing.
early.
The
Too
sun's
early.
coming.
It is a little early, but you know what else I noticed? And I noticed this every time spring is getting very close, is the birds start chirping early in the morning near my house, and they're doing that now. So
yeah,
Too early, guys.
they were for sure waking us up, which is
coming,
great.
man.
Yep.
Cool.
It's not time yet. Let's not jump the gun.
Yeah.
Matt, backpedal for us.
I did some swimming. Been swimming and testing a lot of goggles lately. Some more goggles than I know what to do with, and got to swim in all of them. And I have ridden a couple of times indoors.
I was going to say outdoors.
Didn't make it outdoors. I rode with the triathlon group and the juniors.
We noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you finish.
And Barrett. Well, so
Barrett
I'm
toasted you from
I'm
what I heard.
enjoying myself on my
Rumor
ride.
has it.
Working hard. I'm working hard, right? And I get this text from Jake, and it's a video clip of Barrett, who is 10 or 11.
10
on his
So
bike.
13. Yeah.
On a bike. Yeah, I mean, he puts out big watts.
Yeah.
But he's on, and he said, what did he say? Like, hey, Matt, I just passed you. Or something like that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, killing me, man.
It was direct
so
trash
funny.
talk coming from
It
there.
was.
It came out so organic the first time, and I'm like, hold on, say that again, and I got my phone out and got a video of it.
He's just like, I just passed Matt.
He was out of the saddle, just like cranking, and he went blown by Matt.
You should just have
Matt,
your GoPro on when you ride with
Yeah.
Bear, because he's probably just full of good quotes there.
Yeah, that's
That
true.
was pretty funny.
So that was nice. A nice hit to my pride. There's not much pride left, but
he's only a fourth of your age.
he's
so,
fourth
you know.
my age,
Yeah.
and he's got double the watts.
Exactly.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
And half the weights.
Half the weight. And then also definitely highlight. Well, I will say that Saturdays are really nice and consistent. I'm doing like I would call it, like my classic Saturday triathlon workout where we swim early and then get on the bike and do an indoor workout and then go for brick run afterwards. And that's going well, and it's been consistent. Which for a couple weeks doing that with
I checked
Bob
out
Croucher.
your Strava this last week. You're putting
okay.
together good, solid, just like beginning build off-season training. You are.
They're not anything crazy, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's some stuff to. I don't think I'm ready to race by any means, but
When's the indoor race at Lacamas?
February 29th. I kept meaning to talk to you about
29th?
that. Yeah,
Is that a Sunday? When is that?
I don't know. I think it's probably it's a Saturday. I think so. That would be
It is a Saturday.
So this is an indoor triathlon in our area that Evan. I've been meaning to talk to you about and invite you to come do it with me. And I think we run. What do? We swim for 15. I think we swim for 10 minutes. Bike for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and then run for 10 minutes. I don't know. It's pretty.
I think
really
it was
short.
10, 20, 10, if I remember right.
It's super short.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if it was a little bit longer. But I kind of want to like do it and go hard.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared of going hard on the run.
I
Might
may be
hurt myself, but
coming back from Tampa that day. So depending on the time, if I can jump off the plane and get there, I will.
It's gonna be early in the morning.
Yeah.
But
We can make our own. Don't worry.
Yeah, we could easily make our
I've
own.
got some ideas for fun early spring.
We should.
ones.
We should
Yeah.
do that. We could grab all our juniors and be like
Absolutely.
indoor triathlon and go. It
Exactly.
wouldn't be hard at all.
No.
Yeah. People keep track of
It'd
their
be a
own
lot of
stuff.
fun. Yep.
The highlight of the week, Lakeside Long Run.
Yep. Absolutely.
I have been feeling decent on the run. I felt like I was like, all right, let's kind of ease the pace up, as we were finishing. And of course, we were running with like Bob Croucher had no problem with the pace.
No.
I thought I finished and I was like, I think we're going like, 7:15s in there. No, we weren't. We were going like 7:30s, 7:40s.
Yeah, I saw it when we were done.
I was high hopes that we were going a little bit faster than that, but that's okay. It'll
But it's
get there.
been like back to back to back weeks of you getting in 10 miles,
Yeah.
which is way
Which is
more
good.
than you were getting before.
And in
Yeah,
fact, I
that's
thought
good.
we might actually go longer this past weekend, but
You could have gone longer. You looked
someone did. Someone got 20 miles in. After the first warm-up 10 miles, you got in an additional.
Yeah.
Wow.
Trying to run
That's
longer
good.
and more.
That's what we would call good stuff.
Yeah.
That is a real long run.
I'm really thinking, you know what I'm really like?
Mm-hmm.
This is, and and I hate talking specifically about my training on here because I feel like there's a lot of pro triathletes out there that try to get way too in the weeds with their own training and give out like specific stuff all the time, which I just don't think most people really care. But like,
that's the thing. People don't care.
Like nobody cares what your like tempo threshold set was this week. But I did have 2 back-to-back days running that I really think if I was to like take some time off triathlon and just focus on running,
you could be a runner.
I really think I could go under 110.5 pretty. I'm not going to say easily, but I think within 6 months I could go under 110.
Serious. Well,
I really think I could. But woulda, coulda, shoulda. Trying to do it with triathlon would be tough. But who knows? And
triathlon, you're not too shabby at triathlon, so keep it up. I think
to some I'm shabby, but
that 20-mile distance does tend to beat you up a little bit more. I would say that you should probably continue to experiment with those kind of every other week or once every 3 weeks, something like that.
I'm really not going to bump. I think my longest run this year is going to be like 24 miles. I'm really not. I mean, outside the race, I'm really not going to try and experiment with let's bump this up to like into the 30s. I'm not going to. Not going to go that route.
I think a 20 is perfect and this is super early right now.
Yeah.
But next week you should probably pull back a little bit
to like a 16, 18 range.
Yeah. Anyway,
agreed.
That was Lakeside Long Run. Highlight of the week. Highlight of the
week. We
week.
had Mike Reddick there on the bike. So we had our first dialed cycling member join the Lakeside Long Run. It was only for 10 seconds, but he was
multiple people showing up with bikes.
Yes.
He just went there for the photo opportunity to call you guys out.
And also Scott Macbeth, first run back from his injury issues and is doing awesome. He was so happy to be there, and Mike snapped a cool picture of Scott, so that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Reddick's little caption or something to that effect was
they lost their bikes or something.
Poor guys lost their bikes. Can we start a Kickstarter, or not a Kickstarter, but a GoFundMe to get these guys some new bikes?
And that was nice to Mike to be out there because Mike was about to jump on a plane to Alaska.
Yeah.
Fairbanks. Yeah, he's in Alaska right now.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this, Mike, thank you.
Yeah. That was nice. It was good to see you.
Cool.
Jake, come down sometime. Roll down the hill.
I will. Sundays have been kind of my longer ride day, and trying to squeeze that in and get it.
Did you end up? Did you end up riding? I know Jake's about to do his back, but did you end up riding with the team on Sunday?
I did.
That looked like the most enviable ride I've seen so far this season. It looked awesome.
That was awesome.
Glorious.
Would you say it was good stuff?
Yes, I would.
Was it Lance that would say glorious?
Glorious would definitely fit this ride. We ended up yesterday getting on the bikes, knocked out 92 miles and some change, and just a little over 4,000 feet of elevation gain. Did the Banks for Nonia loop.
Are you kidding me? You did 92 yesterday?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
You're like, I got to get some. Remember I saw you on, was it Friday?
Jake's
I saw
super
you?
sneaky fit lately.
Remember I saw you on Friday at the soccer, and you're like, I got to find some time to get on the bike. I got to get some hours in before this weekend is over. And I was like, I guess you did that.
Yeah.
I guess you snuck in those hours.
I guess you found some time.
Yeah. We did the juniors ride on Saturday, and then after that, it was a good workout for the kids, but for us, we're just kind of like do. So I mean, it's just kind of like 2 hours of spinning the legs.
Just because we're just nervous too the entire time. We're like, please nobody get hit by a car. Please nobody get hit by a car.
So I needed to get something that 4 to 5 mile or 4 to 5 hour range
at that 200 plus watt range. Yeah.
And just when I got done telling Matt that my computer wasn't going to make any noises over here.
This is why I told Lance to text me today, unless we could have the little bing noise like everybody loves, and then we could be like, oh, it's Lance.
Just got a notification that Peter McKinnon uploaded a new video, Matt, so you can go check that out later.
Okay.
But anyway, so I joined, was it Hannell and Hatfield and one of our newer teammates, Gary Cornelius. The 4 of us went out and we did this ride. There's some other people that were wanting to come out there. They just couldn't make it yesterday. It was, one of those rides where everybody wanted to go, but they just couldn't for various reasons. And we've already got people requesting for us to do that ride again.
I very much
soon.
wanted to be a part of that ride.
If you can make it, my God, that was a beautiful ride. I mean, it was a brisk pace the entire time.
Oh, you're on the Hatfield Hannell train right there.
Oh, yeah.
That
those
train
guys
lately.
I think those guys just go.
That's a fast train lately.
I think those two guys just go find the most beautiful rides. Like that's their job. Like they spend all week looking for the most beautiful rides, and then they go ride them on the weekend.
And then I know we always talk about Hannell on here a lot, but also I mean Hatfield is very strong. Very strong.
In the last year, has gotten sneaky fast.
He also used to be a triathlete too.
Yeah, I used to be able to keep up with him. Used to be able to keep up with him pretty well, but I mean, now when it gets over like maybe 4 degrees of grade,
he climbs well.
He's just gone. I don't have my climbing legs and my climbing body right now, and the problem that I was dealt with.
Shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. Yesterday was no different. I mean, we were about 65 miles in, and we were doing the last longer climb. about halfway up that, I started to get my whole trap complex, and it was going down into my lat. It was kind of going up in the base of my skull. It just all started to not cramp or anything, but it was just so tight that I was getting a tension headache in the base of my skull, which was not pretty.
Did not make the last 20 miles enjoyable.
It got to the point where I honestly thought I was going to have to pull over and go puke in the bushes for a second. So I just kind of like slowed up a little bit and let those guys go to the top. I mean, they were up there probably waiting for me for, I don't know, less than a minute. But just kind of had to like relax myself. And by the time we got up there and got something to drink and everybody was, nature had called, doing their things up there, and we got back on the bikes. I was fine. So but I was able to hang with them all just fine on the flats and the rollers. So that was good.
The fitness is building back for you. I mean, and it's pretty awfully timed too when you're thinking going into camp. So
right, got to get ready for training camp.
When you guys come back from camp, do you remember last year when we did that just like team time trial up Larch, the Washington side?
Yeah,
we just had like everybody PR'd up Larch that day, basically.
Yeah.
We need to, when you guys come back from camp, do that again and honestly see. I think the team as a whole is fitter than they've been before. There's a lot of good fitness on the team right now.
Everybody has just been very consistent during the winter time, getting on the trainer and riding indoors. A lot of people don't like it, but if you do it, the dividends that you will earn from that are going to be through the roof. I mean, you're going to be super strong. So. But
I think an attack on Larch is going to need to be put on the schedule.
Yeah, we'll definitely get something together, and we'll have more team rides coming out. So, but that ride was fantastic, and we will be doing it again soon. If you can make it, come on out. Outside of that, I got in almost 12 hours, which is good. It's the biggest week that I've had this year.
Good work.
Which is good. Getting ready for camp. I'm just trying to find any kind of form and fitness that I can possibly find without my shoulder falling off, and my shoulder is definitely sore today. It's not quite as bad as I was anticipating after what I dealt with. So that's good. And just going to parlay this into another big training week this week. So
is your shoulder going to be okay to do Pilates tomorrow?
Should be. Yep. I have no reason why I can't make it.
All right.
See you there, Matt.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Lead out news. Sitting in today for Champ Bailey, we've got the one and only Evan Bryce.
Yep. We're going to see if I can top Champ here. I've got varied news, I will say. Okay. So to all the cyclists here, there is some cycling news in here, but we may have a little bit of running news. There were some records that fell here this last.
Stray.
No whammies, though. No whammies.
No whammies. Okay, so first, this is local news for me because this is local news from Ohio, but national news in the sense that the 24-hour cycling championship was held in Sebring, I believe it's Florida. Sebring, Florida.
Sounds lovely.
Okay.
This last weekend. That's a lot of riding in 24 hours generally. And
do they do a loop and just?
So they actually changed the course this year, and the course towards the back end had a turnaround, which is a big impact on the race because typically there are quite a few of the top end riders that will go over 500 miles, and I believe nobody this year went over 500 miles. And they blamed it on the turnaround. What you think about, if you're at hour 20, and to do that you have to average like 21 miles an hour for 24 hours.
Yeah.
You're hitting a turnaround at...
Yeah, it's a slow down, the turn, and then the
acceleration. Got to get back up out of the saddle.
So how many times would they hit that turnaround? Just out of curiosity.
A lot. I have no idea. It would have been a lot. So
the loop's like 10 miles or something.
Yeah.
And they would do it like 40 times or something.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So from the company I'm involved with, Edge Cycling Technologies, one of our riders, Joe Lawhorn, who I've mentioned on here before, Race Across America finisher, did 464 miles, which is a long way to go in 24 hours.
I don't know how that's possible.
He did like 19 and a half miles an hour for 24 hours. Just incredible. And with the turn, he was well within on pace for 500 miles at the halfway point until they started having to do that turnaround.
It really makes our Seattle to Portland ride just look like a warm up.
Yeah.
It is because the 200, they say that race doesn't start till the halfway point.
Yeah.
Okay. That's when race starts.
I was trying to do something over here, and I may have missed this.
460.
How much elevation gain, though?
Oh.
It's Florida, so let's just assume 0. But it's a very, very, very flat course. Yeah, very flat. Two other of my mother's and my very good friends, Ruth Costel and Judy Stutz, also finished this race. Both did very well.
Well, here's the thing. Doesn't everyone finish? Because isn't it as far as you go in 24 hours?
I don't
So,
think
like,
everybody keeps
you could
on
do.
right.
You
I
could
mean,
have
like,
3 miles and be like,
technically, yes.
technically, I got my 3 miles in for 24 hours and I'm done.
Yeah. Now, I need to fact check myself on this, but I do believe Ruth set a Masters record for this race, a national Masters record. I could be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure she did. I'll fact check myself for next week.
Okay.
And Judy Stutes finished very, very high. I'd have to check on her results again where she finished with the official. But yeah, it's just absolutely incredible. And it's interesting. I mean, all 3 of those people are from Dayton, Ohio. Like,
way to go, Dayton.
I don't know why Dayton has such a centric ultra mindset, but yeah.
What do you guys? You guys are just really bored in Dayton, Ohio.
It's just really tough people, I'm going to say. But yes,
Okay.
also boredom
Bored.
probably
Tough.
feeds into it.
Extremely tough.
Bored people.
And bored. And they want to ride their bike as long as possible.
Ride and run as long as you can. But yeah, so proud of Dayton. Shout out to everybody. That was absolutely awesome. Now, still on a cycling note, going internationally, our favorite person to talk about on this podcast, Wout van Aert, continued his comeback this week. And he won the, the pronunciation. This is going to be awesome. Are you ready for this?
Just murder it.
The Krawaten Cross.
Nailed it.
Race. Yes, nailed that one. The
Well done.
Jumbo-Visma rider wins his first race back from his Tour de France crash where he lacerates his quad open. So
It's good.
good for him. Now, here's the Matthew Van Der Poel was not there. If Matthew Van Der Poel had been there, would he have won? Maybe not. But still.
Right. No.
Great first victory back. Heading into road season looking strong.
Yeah.
Wout van Aert. Let's go.
Be
Good
interesting
job,
to
buddy.
see what he does in the spring classics.
Absolutely.
Good job, Wout. Good job.
That's our live studio audience. Thank you. And next, for all you cyclists, you can go and turn the headsets off for a second.
Uh-oh.
The Millrose Games were this weekend,
Right.
which is basically where people go to an indoor track and try to break records and run really, really, really fast. So,
Yeah, and it's just prestigious to win any of those races.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's like the New York City, like, big under the,
Yeah.
big race.
well, and it's just, it's like Madison Square Garden, and it's like it used to be a big thing. I think
Yeah.
it maybe is not quite the same level as it used to be because I think people don't pay attention to indoor track anymore. But
Yeah.
I think it used to be a thing.
Yeah, they should because it's awesome racing. I love watching indoor races.
Yeah.
There's so many more tactics, I feel like, in indoor races. Just physical racing.
Tighter turns.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot more elbows thrown, as me and Matt were talking about this
Let's
weekend.
go. Let's go. Come on. Get to the point.
Ellie Perrier set the women's indoor mile record, running very, very quickly.
4:16.
4:16. And that was also a great race, too, because she had to close in the last 200 meters
Yes.
and fly by the leader in one of the fastest last 50s you'll see in a finish. Right after that, there was also in the men's 3K a young man by the name of Nico Young, who is still in high school.
Yes.
And is hands down the fastest high school runner right now, winning multiple cross-country titles and is going to have a great spring track season here coming up. He ran correct me on this, Matt, 56, I believe, 3 seconds under Drew Hunter's previous high school record.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And, that's for one incredible. He was running with the pros. He was running with the pros. Now, granted, he was hanging on for dear life at the back of the pro field, but he was on the back of the pro field.
What did he lose by 10 seconds or something?
Yes, 10
not
seconds
bad.
on the dot. Justin Knight finished in 7:46 to win.
Okay.
So, and Justin, as I was telling Matt before this, Justin Knight looked terrifyingly comfortable running 7:46. He looked like he could have run a few more laps at that pace just fine. So, but shout out to Nico Young. That's absolutely incredible.
He's stud.
He is an absolute stud right
Going
now.
to Northern Arizona.
Northern Arizona.
Lumberjack.
Where he's
Be a
going to get
lumberjack, yeah.
all
Yeah.
that nice
That's a
altitude
good place.
training.
It's a good place to run.
Yeah.
He'll do well. He seems like he's
got
a
a great
level-headed
coach.
kid.
Yeah, very smart
I can
kid, very humble.
I
Yeah, I
almost
know.
went to school there.
Really?
Little fun fact.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I was
It's a
between
cool,
there and Chapman University where I actually ended up going.
Yeah.
And I stayed at Chapman just because I wanted to be a little bit closer to
I was
home in
gonna
Southern
ask you.
California.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
Man, Jake would have been a great runner. Could you imagine that if Jake had
I
become
know.
a distance runner as a result? Yeah,
That
be a
would've
very different podcast.
yeah. Back then, Northern Arizona wasn't as dominant as they are now.
yeah,
They were still good.
them in Colorado seem to be the perennial powerhouses right now.
No,
Yep.
yeah.
Interesting.
All right.
Cool.
Anything else?
Nope, I think that's pretty much it.
Champ Bailey.
What does Lance say? Champ Bailey out.
That's what he says, yeah.
Okay, there.
Done.
He says with more panache, but yeah,
Lead out news. Thank you.
Thanks, Evan. Appreciate that.
no problem.
Hey, guys, guess what? Hot seat's back.
Hot seat.
The hot
It's hard to do the hot seat without Lance.
Are we
but-
gonna hold on? Wait for it.
The hot seat.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah, let's do the hot seat. It does suck not having Lance here. We still have a chance that he may or may not call in, but we'll see. So let's just...
It'll be a real hot seat if he calls in with a question. What? We didn't even see this coming.
Yeah. Evan, why don't you get us started since you are hot off your lead out?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm just clicking over right now. So I've got two kind of simultaneous discussion hot seat questions.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, with training camp coming up, we know that for the team, training camp is a fun time to go and ride together and do all these things. But suddenly it's also a very, very competitive sort of week, basically.
Yep.
There's a lot of trash talking available. There's a lot of kind of pounding your chest available here. And there's also a few, I wouldn't call them jerseys. They're more socks, aren't they, Jake?
Yeah, those are our daily sock awards. So you get socks based on how you do that day in 3 different categories.
Is Whitney going to the training camp?
He is.
Oh, that's awesome. That's going to be
Everybody keeps coming to me and saying, why is Matt LeGrand not going? Can you convince Matt LeGrand to go? What can we do to get Matt LeGrand there?
It's not it's taking care of the kids. It's all this stuff.
Are we talking about this Matt LeGrand or
they want
international pop star?
The other pop star, the guy that takes off.
We might have to go get the international pop star.
You guys need a performer.
He can fill in for me. He would be very entertaining.
He looks like a climber. Yeah,
could serenade us every night.
Yep.
All right. So my 2 questions are: now there are glorified basically polka dot socks for mountain points, right?
Climbers.
Points. Yeah. Climbers. Okay. The leaders is based off distance, correct?
No. I don't think it's based off distance, is it?
I thought the leaders was based purely off of who rode the most miles.
There's green socks, and those are for all of the sprint points.
Yes.
And so basically, anytime we're riding on a road and we're coming to a stop sign, not the actual stop sign, but the sign that says there's a stop sign ahead, there's a sprint to that.
Gotcha.
So you like on the route, you don't necessarily know unless you're, I don't know, going out there and stalking the route ahead of time, so you know exactly where
I know
they're
some
at,
people who will probably do that. But
yeah,
that's a good idea.
There will be a sprint to each one of those. Whoever racks up the most wins there will get the green socks that day.
Gotcha.
And then whoever wins the green socks the most over the course of the week gets to keep them. And pretty much every day after you're done riding, if you have said green socks, and any of the socks for that matter, it's your job to go wash them because somebody could take them from you. Unless you know for a fact that you're going to keep them. And you
I did not know that rule.
That's
a funny rule.
That's the other thing, too, is you have to wear them every single day so everybody knows who you are. So you become a marked person. If you're going to go out there and you're going to...
nobody's giving you a lead out.
Hold those... Yeah, exactly.
You got to Peter Sagan then at that point. You got to be your own
I'll be
team.
for hire. So if anybody wants to hire me, I'll give you some lead outs for days. So
I think it's going to be a fun...
So there's green, and then there's yellow, which is our best all around.
Okay.
Our GC person, if you will, the person that just rides the strongest and maybe mixes it up with a few sprints and the long climbs, and just you can factor in like distance and elevation gain and whoever your best all arounder is. Now we don't necessarily have polka dot socks, but what we basically is the red socks for the most aggressive rider.
Gotcha.
I thought there was polka dot socks.
Well, the most aggressive rider is the person that would basically go out.
No, I think there's most aggressive rider and polka dot socks.
Do we have polka dot socks?
I think so.
Okay, so I guess we do.
I thought you guys did.
But it's not necessarily for climbing. It's for us. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. How can I forget this? So it's not necessarily for a climbing challenge, but they will identify certain segments through the course of the ride for that day, and they won't tell anybody, but you'll just have to kind of guess,
this is probably...
Yeah, this is probably...
if it's like a 20-minute climb, I'm going to assume.
It tends to go to the strongest climber.
Yeah. So whoever's out there...
I think Paul won it one time.
And Jordan
mostly.
Yeah.
he won the overall for sure.
Yeah. He was super beast. But Jordan's got some competition this year with Robert and Hannell.
Yep.
And Hatfield. They're all going to be super strong.
They're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So the question then is, who is going to be the most consistent climber through the week? Who's going to win the green socks for the entire week? The most green. We'll say the most green socks for the whole week.
So and at the end of the week, they also have like a final thing. So
yes.
You're asking us who we think is going to win.
The last of the 3, because this is going to be just the 3-part question, is who rides the most miles?
Good question.
I'm going to say the climbing award is going to go to Robert. But in that same breath, I could say Jordan. I just know that Robert is like his watts per kilogram, or their watts per kilogram. They're nuts. Yeah. Jordan is coming
Also
back
nuts.
fresh
Also
from like
nuts.
a long week in Hawaii. He's like, been riding around
that's
Hawaii,
right.
just like hammering
Got like
stuff.
24 hours or something crazy.
Oh, I don't know if you saw this or not. He got engaged.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
We did see
Jordan
that.
Rickards. Yes.
Congratulations, sir. So I think, God, it's gonna be a throwdown between those two.
Yep.
I
think the conversation's only those two. for
honorable
that.
mentions, I think, will go to Hanel and Hatfield, but I think those two are going to be the.
But you know what? Hanel took it easy all week. Like he was like just taking care of the, I don't know what you want to call us, the scrappers. He was
Stragglers,
he was taking care of all the
sweeping.
Yeah, he was a sweeper. I mean, he was kind of like the, he was the nice guy.
Because this is the thing with the climbers is you really have to look at like, okay, who's got, because the thing with Robert is there as a training supplement to their season coming up.
Mm-hmm.
For Hanel and Jordan, this could be seen as an A race. So you may see Robert pull back a little bit and be like, this is not worth going.
I don't think
into the red
I don't think any of those three take it all that seriously. But Lance Hepler, on the other hand, I think he will ride the furthest.
Yes,
because
Lance hands down is going to ride.
If anyone's like, I'm going to go ride a little extra,
it's going to be Lance.
He's going to turn around and go ride with him.
Yeah,
Like
he's going to sneak out of his van and like the afternoon while everybody's eating dinner and go knock another 10 miles.
It is not going to be the disciplined pro Robert who's going to be like, yeah, you know what's a good idea?
Here's
Let's
a good
throw
idea.
on 20 extra miles for no reason here.
Those folks have already, it's already going to be a jump in mileage for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Even Lance,
nobody's riding that many miles a week consistently. That's like 30 hours.
Not
riding.
right now. I mean, we do have people on the team like
15s consistently.
15 hours, and Lance has been knocking out 18, 19, 20-hour weeks recently.
Yes.
And some of these people are doing well over 300, if not close to 400 miles. Jeez. Training camp is still a leg above that because you're layering on stuff that's. It's not like you can go sit on Zwift and lock it in at 2.4 watts per kilogram and just go ride for 3 or 4 hours.
Who
this
does
is
that?
A whole
Who does that?
Jordan Rickards,
Evan Price.
Price. Yeah. It's going to be a whole different ballgame when you get out there because you are going to be riding around the same area that we were at last year, and nothing is flat there. It all rolls up and down, and there's lots of long climbs. So I think
that's right up Robert's alley.
The longest day, I have to go check. Hanel finished the route planning. The longest day is just shy of 100 miles, but it's over 11,000 feet of climbing.
That's gonna be
That's
awesome.
A tour stage.
Everyone's gonna finish it and be like, I'm gonna go polish off the 100 because there's Mexican Coke somewhere that we can find.
Exactly.
Go find it somewhere. Don't know where it is, but
So,
do you guys know like where you're staying exactly? Like what town exactly you're gonna?
We're
be
staying in Fallbrook. We are literally staying across East Mission Road is like the road that I lived off of for 12 years, whatever, where I grew up.
Yeah.
That road, I could almost throw a rock and hit where I used to live.
Man.
And we are so close. We're less than a quarter of a mile away from where I used to live.
That's
and again,
good riding.
That's
there.
the Hanel and Hatfield that found that. But we won't have to finish all of our rides with that monstrous climb.
Maybe
up
we should just keep
Rainbow
going
Heights
back there every year, like make it a more of a tradition. I mean, it's cool to go to different spots and see different
there's
things.
So much great riding down there.
Yeah,
and
it really
we're not
is.
terribly okay. There's whispers. We're still trying to figure out the logistics behind doing this. That we're going to drive out to Joshua Tree. And, it's a 2-hour drive, but what else do we have to do?
Yeah.
We might get up early, pack everything up, go out there, ride Joshua Tree, and come back. And
leave
then,
at 5 or 6 a.m. and boom, you got
Palomar Mountain. You can go up to Orange County. You can even get up to LA County and go do Glendora Mountain Road to Crystal Mountain and go do that stuff that they used in the
Isn't
Tour
that
of
where Phil
California.
Guyman kind of lives close to?
Yeah,
too?
he's on that.
Just shoot Phil. Yeah. Just shoot Phil a text and be like, "Hey, show us your back.
Show us your hills."
Yeah. You can go up to Big Bear. There's just so much stuff up there. So,
I want to be on this trip. So
yeah, I know.
Good stuff. So, did we answer all of your questions?
Sprinter.
Oh, the Sprinter.
Who's taking most of the town?
Surratt.
I'm going to go with Surratt,
too.
too.
Surratt's I didn't even think about Surratt. Yeah, that's a great pick.
He's been just killing his training. So
he could be an overall contender for sure.
Could
He's
be,
just a stud.
Yeah.
I'm too big of a person to contend for those climb.
That's
challenges.
That's Jake and Surratt's only problem is just when we're talking about that climbing 11,000 feet,
Lance is going to go for
the little man's
Lance
game.
going to go for the green. He'll go for the green socks.
Well, Lance
and he'll do well.
Did Lance walk? No, he walked away with the yellow socks though last year. He got the best all around.
Did he? I don't know.
And Surratt kept the green.
Lance will be right there for the all around. I think the green will still go to Surratt. He's got so much power.
He does.
He's got very, very high end power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to give him a run for his money on that, but I just don't. I got to be careful. I don't want to do anything.
I think you'll be his lead out.
Yeah, like I said, I'll be for hire.
Yeah. You'll be the red
Lance.
on the race number. Yeah.
Any other questions for us?
Those were the three I was looking at. Yeah.
Okay.
Exhilarating stuff for our listeners. They're all like, who are all these people in this place that I don't know? Racing for socks? What?
Racing for socks.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. We will definitely be posting a lot of pictures and video and all that other stuff from the training camp, so you can kind of play along with us as we go through this. Mm-hmm. Matt, hot seat.
I have a question for you, and it's because some of us aren't going to Southern California. Some of us are.
It's not too late.
Some of us are.
Some of us are.
Some of us believe that it's wintertime.
And that you should suffer through the winter here.
What is your favorite piece of winter cycling gear? Number one.
The most important or my favorite?
Favorite.
Good gloves.
Which gloves? Tell me more.
Oh God, I don't know what brand these gloves are.
But they work.
They're great. Oh, now I feel terrible. I don't know what.
Bring them to the next podcast.
I'm going to actually because I've had them for years, and they are so warm and perfect.
Durability over time has been good.
I've crashed them 1.5 million times, and they are still alive.
And they're not like.
They're not too hot. They're not too cold. They're a little bulky. It's kind of hard to get to snacks.
Yeah,
but it's okay. You know, I make it work. Yep. But yeah, you still good dexterity. They're not the lobster glove, so they're not like impossible to operate a bicycle with. Yeah. But yeah, they stay very warm all the way down to. God, years ago I'd even ride in Ohio in like sub 20-degree weather, and those gloves were still okay with a base layer glove underneath them.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's coin toss.
Tell me both of them.
Castelli makes a base layer jersey, or like a base layer garment, if you will. Mm-hmm. And then they have a special pair of bib tights. Both of them have the Gore-Tex windproof lining in there. And
Castelli makes nice stuff.
They do. So for me, like forever and a day, I was riding here until last year when I got these bib tights. And you always feel that wind permeate through your kit. It doesn't matter if you're wearing like bib tights or you're wearing bibs, regular bibs, and some leg warmers and whatnot. You're always still kind of cold. That's the wind. The cold wind will just come through there. So I got these bib tights that have that Gore-Tex windproof layer in it. And I went out and rode and went, oh my gosh, I feel nothing and I'm staying warm. These things are magical. Well, they have a base layer jersey that has the same thing built into the whole chest and stomach area that keeps the wind off of your core. For me, though, I think it's a little bit easier to layer up for your upper body, so I can get away with that a little bit more if I want to wear like a rain jacket and then something base layer to warm, and then you've got a jersey in there. So you've got enough layers there.
So you didn't quite wear the bib tights. And you're good.
I'm just wearing the bib tights, and I'm good. I wore those yesterday when we started the ride. It was 34 degrees.
Yeah,
I was fine.
It's cold.
Yeah. So
that's important.
Those two pieces together, I think, are magical for this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice when you get to shed them and you can wear just a regular kit and not have to spend forever and a day getting dressed and undressed wearing all this stuff. So
good. Good answers.
Yeah, if you want a second and a third place, I got a few things there for you too.
Hit it. Let's hear it.
The second place, I believe they're the Castelli shoe covers. I believe they're called the Estremo.
I was going to say shoe covers. Yeah.
I've actually looked at getting those.
Yeah. So usually when it's in the mid 30s, your feet get numb. You can't feel your toes, and your toe box starts to kind of feel like a peg leg extension of your body. So I was wearing these Estremos. Now they are freaking expensive, but they work really well.
And my feet completely keep the water out, or
they are pretty. They're not. There's not really a good like a perfect shoe cover out there, but these do a really good job. If it gets a little bit wet, my feet aren't getting wet. Like I don't get home and like they might be a tiny bit damp. Yeah. But my shoes are relatively dry, so they work really well that way. So I like those as well.
I feel like most times when I've trained through the winter, it's like you get an hour and a half into a ride and your feet are just wet. And it's just like, that's just part of it.
This is where I'll be honest, the very old Siri mountain bike shoes that Bob has given me, that I don't even know how old they are. He didn't either, but they fit me perfectly. And he was like, you can just have them if you want. I like older cycling shoes. I really hate breaking in new cycling shoes, which is why I probably keep mine for like 8-9 years at a time.
Yeah.
I hate breaking them in. And these are so perfectly old and warm that even with a lack of good shoe cover. I really don't have a great pair of shoe covers right now. I need to buy some.
Yeah.
These things have stayed warm because they got that cotton lining that some of the mountain bike shoes have.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if the newer mountain bike shoes still have this, but it's like this insulated. I mean, they take forever to dry.
Yeah.
Like they take literally 7 days to dry. You could be blasting a fan on them the entire time.
Gotta get these ready for next week.
But
Shoe dryer, dude. Come on.
they are, but they are so warm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're great.
You do need a shoe dryer. I've been using mine a lot lately.
I know.
Put it on there and they're dry in 3 hours. Done.
It's great, and they're cheap. They're like $20.
And your shoes won't stink nearly as bad.
I just leave them outside anyway. So yeah.
That's why they don't dry for 7
But yeah,
days, you knucklehead.
You also, I mean, for running shoes, it's,
running shoes is different because I have a fan that I leave them right next to.
But you need a shoe dryer.
Yeah.
And
I
for
have those little
shoe
pod
covers,
balls too.
don't rely on one shoe cover to do everything. I've got 4 different pairs, and I've
One for
adopted
rain.
that over the
Yeah.
last year. And based on the
Yeah.
weather conditions,
You
I
use
will put
different
on
shoe cover.
that shoe cover, and
Yeah.
it makes a big difference.
I think I have 3.
Yeah.
Which
I just have a
some
great
of them
pair.
don't
I mean,
barely
honestly,
even count.
I just have like a great pair of ski socks. They were literally ski socks, and they come all the way up your calf, and they've kept my feet very warm this winter. Like even through a lot of the gravel riding,
I do
was
the
doing.
same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a pair of ski socks as well, and it's kind of nice
Yeah.
too because it comes all the way up to the
Ski
base of
socks
your
are
knee,
great.
so it keeps your
Yes.
calves warm. So.
Exactly. They double great, and they got that nice little like shin. Not a guard, but it does a really good job like blocking the
Yep.
wind, which is obviously what they're designed for. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think they're because I have like winter cycling socks. They're not even close to how good those ski socks are. Yeah.
Matt, what's your favorite?
Some sort of shoe cover for sure. I feel like that's the thing that is missing. It's like if your feet are cold, you're miserable.
Yeah.
Do you do any like neck
still-
buffs or head?
I've been searching for good gloves, and I bought a pair, and they're just not enough.
I'll have
They're
to show
not
you
warm
what I
enough.
got.
Yeah, you gotta show me those.
Let me ask you a question, Evan. Is that
that's
the
not good.
official name for those? Is a buff? Because I've heard.
Oh,
well,
that's a
Kelly
good
calls it the
question.
neck thingy. I've heard like a neck gaiter.
I
I've
think a
heard.
buff is.
I've heard of buff.
That's kind of what
That's
I've
usually
heard.
what I've heard from runners. I wonder if that's just a.
I'd never heard that until I heard
wonder
you
if that's
use
just a
that a
runner's
couple
thing.
podcasts
Maybe
ago.
it's, maybe it's
think it's a
runner
runner's thing?
Could be,
But that's
I think
that's
it's a
what
buff.
they are. They're known as we're talking about the same
Neck
thing, right? The
thingy.
thing that
Oh
can
yeah,
kind of extend
I wore
and come
mine.
up over your
Yeah,
head.
I wore mine yesterday.
Yeah.
It comes up over the top of my head,
Yep,
and
same
it was
thing.
over the skull cap that I wear, and then you can pull it up and cover your ears.
It
you
works
can cover
awesome
the
with
lower
the
part of
skull
your
cap.
mouth. It
Yeah.
just keeps you warm. So
Yep.
I was actually too hot a couple times yesterday when I was wearing that, and it was still really cold out. So those things work pretty well.
And I like them better than just the skull cap too, because you can just as soon as your head gets really warm,
yeah.
just take it down a little bit more,
Yeah.
take it around the neck, pull it back up.
Yeah, or if you've got to stop and just take it off, it folds up into like a little tiny square and just throw it in your back pocket. So
Yep.
those things are good.
That was another scary moment on our ride. Speaking of those gloves that I love and have had for way too long, and if I lost, I would never forgive myself.
Hey, where did Evan go?
Yeah, we're riding back, and I'm of course riding no hands, trying to get my snack out while taking the gloves off and doing too many things with my hands. Drop one glove on a semi-busy road. I have to pull over to the sidewalk and wait for the traffic to pass and ride back and get the glove. Which
Anybody run it over?
They did, but it survived it just fine. The glove was that glove got run over by a car and me crashing, and is still just fine. It's still doing good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All
Poor
questions
glove.
answered. Anything else you guys want to add to that list?
I
think that's good.
Yeah.
For winter. Thank God we're coming to like the
some
back
ideas,
end of this. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you one other question based
February. We still have time.
on what Matt's question was here. Do you guys, or have you ever purchased a specific pair of shoes that are meant for certain kinds of weather conditions? I know that there are shoe companies out there that will make like a winter boot,
winter cycling
or
shoe,
something
yeah.
along
They
those
do,
lines.
yeah, they have the full-on boots that
Yeah.
that clip in. I mean,
Yeah, because
I know a lot of people use
not.
those.
the road shoes that I use are a pair of Giros, and they're super lightweight and very thin and permeable to just about everything. So you have to put some
are
sort of
mine.
shoe cover on there. If I'm going to go out there and just wear that shoe, I might as well be barefoot. I know that they make a lot of other kinds of shoes though, based on weather conditions, and I know a lot of people buy these things for like commuting or like I know that mountain bikers have a couple different types of shoe that they can generally choose from based on conditions. Have you guys ever done anything?
No,
of those?
but my guess is that that's probably better than shoe cover, right? I mean, like
You would think so, yeah.
you would
the
think that would
shoes
be
much-
pretty
yeah.
solid.
It would,
I would
at
imagine
least
that-
help tremendously.
Especially in the Pacific Northwest, where so many people
Yeah.
commute during this cold, wet winter.
Right.
Yeah.
Wet being the key word there. I'm sure there are shoes out
Yeah.
there that are just for that.
Maybe that's something we need to start looking into, because if you have something that's rated like to be water resistant or even waterproof for that matter.
Yeah.
And then my other question was, and I was thinking about this the other day when we were doing that juniors ride. My wife frequently sprays her UGG boots with that Scotch Guard stuff. What, just to make them waterproof
Yeah.
and stain proof? Why aren't we using that stuff on our shoe covers?
on your shoe covers. I mean, it should work.
That's pretty smart.
Think of a pair of shoe covers that, aside from the Velo toes, those being like a rubber, kind of like a surgical glove almost that you can slide over your shoe that still has the open part on the bottom so that you can have your heel touch the ground and have the cleats clip in.
So the Scotch Guard will wear off, right? Like it'll wash off, but you reapply.
Yeah, it's cheap.
The other thing is you lose breathability when you spray that stuff on.
I'm perfectly fine with that with cold winter conditions.
For shoe covers, it makes sense. Yeah.
Huh. So might be worth something that we can try. Like
it's worth looking into.
Hack a little something.
Oh, hack bodge. Have you guys watched the GC on whatever?
Hack
bodge.
Yeah.
Bodge is not a term I think we use in American English. So what is exactly a bodge? Because I watch that all the time, and I kind of, in context, can understand what a bodge is.
It's like, you just
a
jury rig this thing
just
together, and it's not gonna hold up.
And then a hack is something like more successful. It's like, oh, this is actually sustainable or like a cool idea.
Yeah.
While a bodge is like, no, you need to buy something else. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Been watching that clip for a long time, and I was like, I can kind of get what a bodge is, but I've never heard that.
Hey, my handlebars, need to be replaced, but I'm just gonna use this plyboard here.
That's a bodge.
That'd be bodge.
That would be a bodge.
Whereas if you're like, I custom 3D printed this carbon handlebar myself, then they would call that a hack.
That's a cool hack. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
You ready for this question?
Let's do it.
Uh-oh.
A lot of news came out this past couple days here in OBRA land, Oregon Bicycle Racing Association.
Oh boy.
Interesting. Okay.
One of the biggest race promoters has left OBRA, Oregon Bicycle Racing Association, and is now a USAC promoter. So United States Cycling just picked up 9 races from the Oregon Bicycle Racing calendar, and so a lot of people here are now left kind of wondering, what am I going to do? Am I going to become a licensed OBRA member, or am I going to be a USAC member, or am I going to do both? Because, I mean, there's costs that are associated with this. So my question is, and I want to discuss after this, is will you guys be buying both a OBRA license and a USAC license for 2020?
Well,
that's a tough question.
For me, it's like this. It doesn't make. I don't do a lot of road cycling. It doesn't make a ton of sense for me to have 2 licenses, right? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like plus USA Track and Field, plus USA Triathlon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, I theoretically USA Masters swimming.
Yes.
I'm probably gonna do a couple of swim races.
But in years past, you've always picked up an OBRA license, so you can come out and do the time trial, and maybe another time trial that comes up.
And that's now a USAC. Well,
that would be
the one
that
that we
race.
Typically do. The Jack Frost time trial is now a USAC race.
Let me ask you another question. Our time trial that we are putting on, the Michael Myers Memorial Time Trial,
I assume that's gonna be OBRA.
It's under OBRA. Gotcha. So we've got 2 time trials out there. Are you going to spend? We'll call it like, I don't know. What does it add up to? About $100-ish bucks. And here's the thing: for the 2020 season 2, Zone 5 was able to work with USAC, and they were able to get them to provide a discount code. So once you go out to register with USAC, you get $20 off the fee of that's normally $80. With USAC, what is kind of nice is the juniors will race for free, which is pretty cool. But you're going to have to, spend $60 to become a USAC member, and an OBRA license right now is $40. So you're looking at $100 there.
Wow.
Now the other little thing is you almost have to sign up for 2 things. You have to become a member of the Washington State Bicycle Racing Association. So WSBA is what it is, Bicycle Association. That is $25 normally. And we were told that there's a discount code for that coming down the pipeline, and I believe it's in the amount of a $10 discount. So you're going to pay $15 to WSBA. What that gets you is your cloth numbers to put on, and a bike number, like your frame number that comes off the back of your seat post, so that you have that for all the racing that happens.
So I would have to sign up for 3 different organizations.
So if you were to sign up and use all the
WSBA,
if you were to sign up and use all of the discount codes, you're looking at $115.
Can I speak candidly for a second?
Shoot, that's why I wanted to ask you this question.
And this is where I think that me, Matt, and Lance are lucky because we get a look at this from Jake's eyes on the OBRA board, and this is me being very biased, Jake being my favorite OBRA member by far. But I mean, just says somebody who can break it down.
He's in my top 10.
He's in my top 2, yeah. So But I'm going to speak even from my point of view, but from anybody else trying to get into bike racing, that, I mean, we've talked on this podcast about OBRA trying to make road racing easily accessible for people and make it this thing that people can get into without barriers. This just sounds like the exact opposite direction, is just me speaking candidly there. I mean, this would be like USAT splitting, like any race that you wanted to do, you had to get like licensed with. Could you imagine if you had to buy like a Rev 3 license, an Ironman license, and a challenge license if you wanted to do any of those other races? Now, that's speaking from the triathlon point of view, but triathlon has that figured out, because if you were racing American races and have a USAT license, you can go and do any of those races.
Yeah,
I think an Ironman. You can go and do a challenge.
I agree with you. We shouldn't have to have the Washington license and the USAC license. Just wrap it up into one. Make it $125 if you need to. But
I just think that they need to bring this all under. And I mean, I understand the disconnect between USAC and OBRA is the driver here. I mean, I don't know that inside, but that seems like what is going on here. But
they've been trying.
This just seems like a lot of loops.
Over the past like 5 or 6 years, there have been people from both entities that have been working together to try and bring the two entities closer together. Mm-hmm. And they were able to make an agreement where there was reciprocity with respect to your categorization. So if you're racing and doing a ton of racing in OBRA and you're, we'll just say Cat 3, and then you want to go do a USAC race, well, you can go over to USAC and they will recognize that Category 3 ranking and they will let you race as a Cat 3. But you have to obviously have a license. So they've made those strides. There's a lot of scuttlebutt between the two, but I mean, it was... I don't even remember what the year was. I'm going to just guess, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was like the late 90s, maybe close to 2000. There was a big parting of ways, and OBRA used to do stuff with USAC, but it got to the point where it was cost prohibitive because of the fees that USAC was charging for the race promoters to get the races insured and licensed and the sanctioning. It just became very expensive. It almost cost about 4 times as much to run a race under USAC as it does through OBRA. And that's just because OBRA has, insurances and they just don't charge as much for that. But at the end of the day, that cost difference that gets passed down usually to the racer ends up being somewhere between $3 and $5 a race. So if a race was, say, $35 and all of a sudden, if you want it to be on the USAC calendar now, are you going to be open to paying, $38, $39, maybe even $40 for that race? So that, we'll say that $5 or less. Is that going to be a deal breaker for you?
That's not cost prohibitive for
deal breaker. But at the same
me,
time,
it's not the cost. Like the cost even, and this is because I come from triathlon, so cost to me is like a way different stunted view. Like cycling's still very affordable in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. True.
Now it's more the issues of, if I want to go and do a race, now I got to go and do this research to find out, oh, is this a USAC race or an OBRA race? Oh, do I have my USAC license yet? No. Okay, I got to go and get my USAC license. Oh, now I got to go and get this thing through Washington. We know that stuff, but what if I'm somebody who's never road raced before?
Oh, I didn't know that you had to have the Washington thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know that till Jake told me. I mean, like that's like this stuff. I'm sure if you look, you can find it, but like that is, if I'm somebody brand new to cycling, this is not intuitive.
You don't have to
have the Washington
thing.
Yeah,
you can race
without a cloth number.
Well, here's how it works. You'll show up to a race, and if you don't have that number, you have to pay $10 for the paper number for that one race. And then at the end of the race, if you return the paper number, you get $5 back. So inevitably, it costs you $5.
Yeah.
So if you were going to do just one race, just do it that route. You'll save like $10 or something.
That's what I did last year, actually.
Do they have a 1-day pass or anything like that? Could I like if I was like probably just going to do Jack Frost, could I just do a 1-day license?
I want to say yes, but I think I could be wrong. I think you can.
I think you can.
In triathlon, they
I'll get more information on that, but I think you can.
Yeah. So one of our favorite racing companies, Y Racing Events, is a triathlon. They do triathlons and they do running stuff. And they were like kind of went back and forth for a long time. They were just self-sanctioned. You didn't have to be a USAT member to do their races. And they finally succumbed to the pressure and said, okay, we're going to be USAT sanctioned stuff, get the insurance covered and all that stuff. I felt like that was a bad decision. I felt like it was so nice to not have to be,
USAT member,
not have to have some sort of membership or anything.
1 year,
it was
1
just
day
like
membership. Yeah,
you can do these races, and I thought that was really nice. Yeah. And in my opinion, it was a burden put on the racers that was beneficial for the race director, sure, but like I don't know. It just didn't seem like a great decision for the racers themselves.
Yeah.
I don't think they saw the benefit, but that's my opinion. I'm sure other people will think of other things. I understand that insurance makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I don't really know all the insider baseball on the OBRA versus USAC stuff.
Well, there are things that come along with that USAC license too that a lot of people probably don't know yet until you actually dig into the website. I mean, I can go through a couple of them if you want. I've got it up here right in front of me. You get access to over 2,500 sanctioned cycling events. You know, that's going to be far more than just the OBRA calendar.
Yeah.
You know, for the OBRA calendar too, the road racing is so anemic this year. There are now with Zone 5 leaving, there are only 3 road races on the calendar. You've got Kings Valley, you've got Montanore, you've got
those are good races.
Those are great races, and then you've got the state championship road race, which is going to be a new race put on by a new promoter down in Eugene this year.
Oh, okay.
So, not those will be 3 great races, but
I think,
that's it.
Don't you think cyclocross is the big thing? Like people are buying that license for cyclocross at this point. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
A lot of people do, yeah, and you know, obviously with gravel emerging.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that are doing that stuff there, and that's another gravel race that's leaving the OBRA calendar too, because they'll take their Yamhill race and they'll put it on the USAC calendar, and then they put on 5 cyclocross races at the beginning of the cross season, and that will now be USAC, and people will probably want to come do those races so that they can get USAC points for nationals.
How? So here's another question that I have, because a lot of the races that I personally would want to do fall into that Zone 5 stuff, you know, and obviously the Mike Myers Memorial.
2 of the only races that we're going to be on.
Well, the Mike Myers Memorial ride is like the huge one, right?
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah.
How confident I don't know who the official race director is for that. It's not you, is it?
No. Well, I mean, I'm helping oversee, but Ian Gibson's
in charge of that.
And then we have a little committee of people that are put together, and everybody's been assigned different tasks.
He's going to stick with OBRA
as of right now, yeah.
But he could change his mind.
We could.
So that'd be interesting. Anyway, it's one of those things where it's like, it'd be nice to just not have to pay for 2 or 3 licenses to do the races that you want to do. So.
Yeah. So anyway, if you were just to go and hop on the USAC website right now and you're going to go sign up for a license, they actually have 2 different options in there. You've got your license plus basic. It's just like your basic license. And then there's the silver license. Both licenses include those 2,500 races I was talking about. There's monthly tips and promotions that you get in an email. That's just filler, if you ask me. A free 1-hour consult with a USAC certified coach, $65 value. Don't think anybody's probably using that. Partner discounts with United, IHG, KT Tape, Science Sport, Training Peaks, Bike Flights, and so many more. That's kind of cool.
Is this a discount for those products, basically?
You get partner discounts with those people. So if you're,
usually those discounts are...
I didn't realize that they have a deal with Bike Flights. I use them all the time.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah. Access to pro deals through Expert Voice, where you get access to exclusive rewards and discounts and up to 60% off of top brands. That's kind of nice, I guess. Access to USA Cycling's new member discount program, Pedal Perks. You get special offers and limited time discounts from USA Cycling partners. So that's the stuff that you get with both the basic and the silver. The silver one, where it sets itself apart, though, is that you get a $25,000 supplemental medical insurance at Grand Fondos and Fun Rides. So that's kind of cool. Like if you were to have an accident or something like that, trust me, your medical bills pile up really quick. 24/7 unlimited cycling roadside assistance. That was intriguing to me when I first saw that. So
this is one of those things where someone needs to review this on YouTube. Like, hey, is this worth it?
Let's check it out. There you go, Matt.
No, I was looking at you, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But I was just thinking, I was like, because it's one of those things where I'd be like, this seems like might be interesting, but it's one of the things I would want to do a little research and see, is it really of value? Because I know the USA Triathlon, they have discount codes for everything, but it's kind of stuff that you can get anywhere.
Exactly.
It's like, oh great, Xterra wetsuit discount,
10% off.
You're like, this is only like thrown over
10%
every
off.
single.
That's like my credit card fee on it. Yeah. So
you also get a USAC T-shirt. They're calling it a $25 value. I'm calling that a $5 value, but hey, it is what it is. And then additional USA Cycling swag. That's non-defined, so they probably give you like
stickers,
piece
whatever
of paper
junk
and a
they have.
sticker, or
Yeah.
something like that. Just throw in the kitchen sink at you with crap. So, just real quick on that note, would you guys buy that 125? I mean, you're already spending $80. Would you spend an extra 45 to get that extra little stuff at the end?
I would wait until your YouTube video comes out, watch it, and then make the decision.
Is it worth it?
I mean, like, for example, like the roadside assistance thing, like, would be great, awesome value for an extra $40 or $45. You're getting roadside assistance.
I've never heard of a single person ever using that.
I know, but you could use it on YouTube, and you could let us know if it's functional.
Yeah,
Did you wait for 3 hours? Okay, or
It
you know,
came
like, what's the
72
deal?
hours after.
Yeah,
I
sorry I
sent
wasn't
an
there. I
email.
just walked home in that same period of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So those are their costs. So I mean, are you guys doing this? I mean, you're getting $20 off the 80. I'm not sure if it's $20 off the 125 as well, but is it worth it?
I don't know.
I mean, this is the thing. You're asking, especially for me. My cycling calendar was going to be pretty truncated, and still important to me because I love bike racing. I do, but I'm kind of in the throes of like focusing on triathlon, obviously for the next few years.
Yeah. You are.
These extra barriers thrown up. Being honest, being a triathlete, just not worth it.
Yeah,
I know.
Not worth it.
I think OBRA's going to take a hit, and
here's the thing.
Zone 5's going to take a hit because people are going to just be like, I don't want to pay for it. And, you know, that's another two strikes against cycling and areas.
This is supposed to be like the golden mecca of cycling in America is this region, Washington and Oregon.
Yeah.
Maybe with Colorado and California too. Here's the thing. I just looked up the Ohio road racing calendar.
Yeah.
We got more races. Ohio's got more races. They're more. I've raced those races. They're better supported. They're great supported, and they're not splitting you between two licenses.
Yeah.
And they've got gravel racing coming through there. So this is the thing is if OBRA wants to continue to trumpet itself as this is the most bike friendly state in America.
Yeah.
Why can we not put together even a somewhat comprehensible unified race schedule?
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the problems and you know why is the Zone 5 left? Why did they go over to USAC?
That's my question. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because you'd think that they're going to take a hit for that.
So with OBRA, you spend that $40 and you get a license, and really all you get for that is your cloth numbers. You get 2 numbers and then a little OBRA sticker, and then obviously you get the ability to go out and race in the races.
And they help promote your races, right?
Well, sort of. They put up a calendar, and that's where people just know, and that's where they've gone on a pretty anemic website that is all over the place, and it's kind of tough to find information now.
So let's pretend like I'm Zone 5 because this is the thing, and I know Matt mentioned Zone 5. Personally, just me speaking candidly again, I don't blame Zone 5 because Zone 5's the buyer here.
Yeah.
And if OBRA's the seller, so far from that, I'm not liking what is being sold.
Well,
they're the seller that's helped you start your business and helped you build your business, helped lend you starting equipment, timing equipment, vans.
They don't lend you any of that stuff. You pay for it.
They
pay
don't,
for it.
though. Yeah.
So, but I mean, they were there when you needed them.
Yeah.
They give you a very
I'm playing
old,
devil's advocate
You
here.
are. I like it.
They give you an old, outdated website.
There you go. Okay.
Now, in
bad
all
marketing.
fairness,
That does not sound like good marketing.
They are
to me.
in the process of designing and building a brand new website.
Cool, but I haven't seen it yet, and the season's right around the corner, right?
Exactly, and it should have been up a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go on the record and say that they spent way too much money on that website. I think it was a colossal waste of money. I'm not going to get into the exact amount of monies, but the amount that they spent for a WordPress website. I fell off my chair.
In the era of social media, they're spending money on a WordPress website.
Well, no, they
instead.
should. They should have a WordPress website, but they should have spent about 10% of what they did to get this site off the ground and up and running.
How does their social media look like?
It's anemic. They don't do all that great of a job. And again, I don't want to get in trouble for saying too much, but I'm allowed to have an opinion, and I don't think that they do a very good job of promoting races.
Yeah, because I don't want Zone 5
I'm not saying that they're doing
a
a bad job. They could just do so much more. And I've been beating these drums for a long time, and it just falls on deaf ears.
Yeah.
But anyway, kind of getting back to my point, the OBRA doesn't really offer you too much for that license. And then there's the promoter, and the promoter, you know, they're the ones that are putting themselves on the line. They're the ones that are going out and they're putting these races together, getting paid peanuts. They're the ones, if there are no promoters, there are no races. And yes, OBRA needs those people, just like they need the members. And so OBRA's job is to go out there and get members And the promoter is, and they need to get promoters soon. The promoter's putting the race together, and then OBRA kind of helps put these two things together. They provide the insurances, they sanction the race, they will help with the permits to a certain degree, helping with those certificates of liability and whatever, the indemnification certificates. But really, it's the promoter that's doing the lion's share of the work. I mean, there's so much that goes into that.
There is and this is just from personal experience. I used to work for a very, very small timing and race company in Ohio called Speedy Feet Racing, which I think I've mentioned on here before. Jeff Coudron, one of the hardest working human beings I've ever met, was so good at putting together these local 5K, 10Ks, triathlons, and even a time trial. The time trial was his baby. The triathlon series that we did on Wednesday night was his baby. That triathlon series, we actually ended up getting certified with USAT, and I believe the time trial, I could be wrong here, was USAC.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Me and Jeff were the ones mostly Jeff, but me and Jeff were the ones getting there at 4 or 5 a.m. some of those race mornings, setting everything up. I can tell you what, there was no USAC or USAT member there at that time. Nobody there.
No.
So to me, Zone 5 has every single right to look at whatever works best for them, and they, in my opinion, don't owe OBRA anything.
Yeah.
Nothing. And that's just from being on those front lines of that. When you're there at 5 a.m. setting those up, and you're dealing with God knows what. I mean, we used to have hilarious stories about things going wrong last second. We're rushing around fixing stuff.
Yeah.
I've never seen a human being as efficient as Jeff with that. And I don't know the Daves from Zone 5 personally, but I've talked to them, and they seem like those type of guys that just work their butts off, and it's a thankless job.
Yeah.
They have every right with their baby to do whatever they want with it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Here's the thing is, if OBRA's not going to get their stuff together, leave them.
Well,
without an apology.
Yeah, but it's putting pressure on your customers.
Yes. Now that's the thing, is because you got to consider business.
This is a negative. This is a negative for their customers, because their customers are going to have to sign up for 2 licenses, and some of them are not going to do it. Some of them are going to be like,
and they may lose business early.
They're going to lose. I would think that I would expect them to lose business.
Long term, though. Maybe long term, and this is what we had talked about on the run. Now, I too, Matt was somebody who knows a lot about this, like Jake does. I think hopefully that's a wake-up call for OBRA. Hopefully.
This is my take on that, is that it sucks. It's going to be hard. We're in a transitional phase, and one of two things is going to happen. Either OBRA's going to smell the coffee or see what's going on here.
Yeah.
They're going to open their eyes, and they're going to be aware of what's going on, and they're going to make big changes, and they're going to do things better. OBRA is kind of missing the mark on a bunch of items, and they're concentrating on certain things that I think need attention, but they are so they're not even secondary, they're not even tertiary in my opinion right now, given everything that's going on in terms of where they need to be placing their focus. Membership is down.
Time is finite.
Just in 2019, membership was down by 11%. And I think over the last 3 years combined, I want to say that membership is down about 25%. Team participation, the number of teams that are actively signed up, when you go look at the bar competition page, I know that when we first started our team, I think it was between 115 and 120 teams. That's a lot of teams. That's good. Those are strong tentacles that reach out into their respective communities and bring racers to you. We're down to I think we finished at 83 this year. That's another huge percent loss. Our advertising is anemic. There's the sponsorship levels, or the amount of sponsorship monies that are coming in to help pay for these things is nil. The website obviously needs to be addressed, but they did it. They misstep there. They needed that. Good for them going that direction, but they could have spent that other amount of money that they overpaid on something like chip timing that people have been asking for a long time too, which I've been trying to help work on, but it's just you can't get any traction. So
that's expensive too,
there's just all these little missteps, and I think Zone 5 pretty much got to the point where it was that on top of a bunch of other things on the back end that they were dealing with, where we just want to go work with a professional entity that's known and proven and has a baked in product where they'll have everything that they need, and they're going to give it a go. So
yeah. So maybe if they have a huge hit to their customers, they'll turn around and go back.
Yeah.
I mean,
and tuck between legs. I mean, that it's
maybe not. I mean, if you're buying Kirkland soda and you go buy LaCroix, do you really feel that bad when you go back and buy Kirkland?
I wouldn't. No.
Yeah. Your tail between your legs? No, you're just buying drinks, right?
Except for, speak directly at Kirkland for a second. Sorry,
Sponsor.
Kirkland is the best sparkling water out there. Let's be very clear.
Yeah.
with an excellent taste and variety of flavors.
But
yes.
maybe OBRA does like wake up, and maybe they do start to do all of these things, and maybe they do have the better product. It's not to say that OBRA can't come back. Not OBRA. I'm sorry, but Zone 5.
Yeah.
I don't think that they burned bridges, and I think that OBRA wants them to be in there. And I know that the guys from Zone 5 really do like OBRA. Just like now, it just doesn't make business sense. It's not the same OBRA that they started with, and not the same OBRA that they cut their teeth.
I still
with.
don't understand why it doesn't make business sense for them.
Why it doesn't make business sense for them?
Why does it not make business sense for them to continue with the license that they have had in the past?
Well, Zone 5's growing.
Yeah,
aren't they?
Sure. Well,
I mean, they've got a whole team of people that work there. They put on great racing. So.
Maybe they just didn't see OBRA growing at the same rate that they are, and thought that it was time to move
different
to
initiatives
USAC.
and whatnot. And so the flip side is OBRA doesn't wake up, and we very well could be looking at the birth of a brand new race organization here in the Oregon, Southern Washington area.
That's another way to do it. But why would they make a new one? Why would they not continue to just use USA or USAC? I mean,
well, it would be, but it would be basically
just like all the races switch to
Washington
USAC.
State Bicycle Association would slowly bleed down here, and there would maybe be another chapter for Oregon or something like that. So, but for however that comes into focus, that's kind of the way that I see it. So,
I think as the consumers, you just hope at some point there's some congruity, and there's there's
how. So for the Mike Myers Memorial Ride
race,
where is that going to be held? Is it going to be out of
same
Vancouver
place
Lake?
out of Vancouver Lake? Yeah.
Yep.
I think and this is like I'm taking a bigger topic and making it smaller. You have people that are going to sign up for OBRA licenses specifically because they like time trials.
Yeah.
Right.
I would sign up for an OBRA license for that race too.
Yeah.
Just for that race, I would.
I just know, like I feel like the time trial people are kind of like the triathlon. Some of the triathlon people, they're like they're just weirdos, right?
Yeah.
They're just weirdos.
We'll spend way too much money on races.
That's the honest truth. If you
to
meet
go
them,
and ride your bike by yourself for 12
if you meet
miles,
these
pay a lot
people,
of money.
they're weirdos of cycling.
Yeah.
So what about these people? We obviously would want them to do the Mike Myers Memorial Ride. Now they're going to have to buy 2 licenses, and this is kind of the smaller issue that's representative of the bigger issue, of the whole thing. But these weirdo time trialists, do you
be nice?
I'm calling out myself, right?
Hey.
I mean,
hey, no, yeah. You can call it exactly what it is. Time trialists are strange cyclists. They really
I think
are.
they are.
Yeah.
I think they're weird.
Yeah.
But what about these folks? It's just 2 races, right? There's not a ton of time trials.
There are a few other time trials.
There's some in Southern Oregon.
They're going to have
They're
going to have the is it the Time Trial Cup or the TT Cup for the state of Oregon? And I think it's
isn't
a total of 4 races that's down to 3 now.
Does that include the climb to the
the
gravel?
There's a climbing one that's super cool. It's just straight up.
Is it Hood up to Timberline or whatever?
That may or may not be on there. I'm not sure.
Is that technically a time trial? Yeah,
it is.
I wasn't sure if that was actually on like the OBRA calendar. If that
I
got
to go look because there was some chatter last year that they were talking about them not being able to come back and put that race on this year.
That'd be a shame.
And they were looking for somebody, a promoter, to take over. So, but I'm not sure. But
maybe
we'll see.
Zone 5.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just wondering if it doesn't make sense for all of the time trials to be on a certain license or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it seems like some of these things just need
I
to be
would say
talked
that if
about.
they're Oregonians or they're here in the Portland area or somewhere in Oregon, they're probably going to, if they're not willing to buy that USAC license, they're probably going to pass on the Jack Frost.
Right.
And
I wonder if numbers will be really
I don't know.
tricky.
I don't know. I mean,
it's going to be.
see.
We're going to see in a couple weeks.
So
yeah, March 7th or something.
Something like that. Yeah, it's coming up pretty soon though.
It is.
It's not too far off
find
in
a
the near
bike.
future. So
Let me borrow one of your 2 bikes.
I got to get my race bike back together. I got to get that thing all tuned up.
So Matt, you're a no on the USAC license.
No, well, ideally I would buy a license, one cycling license for the year.
He's waiting for a YouTube video to come out comparing the two.
I need
I think.
that YouTube video.
Matt makes all of his decisions off YouTube.
Well,
videos.
I'm curious. Are you going to get both? I mean, because there's 2 races there, and they're going to be in 2 different.
I could skip the Jack Frost time trial and not lose any sleep over it.
Okay.
I mean, maybe a wink or 2, but not much. I would be a little disappointed because that's one of the only races that I do, and
that has been on the OBRA calendar for over 30 years, if I'm not mistaken.
But I could go out. I mean, there's the good thing about when you don't do a race is you can go out there and you can kind of like bring camera stuff, and there's cool stuff that you can do when you're not racing.
Yep.
So I could do that, and I think that would be a great experience. Then there's less pressure for me to get a time trial bike by a certain date. There's some positives there. Ultimately, I would love to race it. So maybe I'm one of those customers for Zone 5 that's just like, yep, you don't get my money this year.
Yeah.
And then, then it's like, okay, then get the OBRA license when I need that for whatever kind of races I'm going to be doing, which would be probably,
because
how much cyclocross races?
So in this region, your USAC license basically is going to get you the Jack Frost time trial. Early season, then Dirty Circles too is going to be.
Dirty Circles.
And
Piece
then
of cake.
A piece of cake, and then also Yam Hill.
Yep. And then this whole
Right.
cyclocross
So
series.
for me being devil's advocate to Matt here,
Sure.
I may just get the USAC
Just
license.
get the
this
USAC
year.
license and
I
skip the
think I'm
OBRA.
probably just going to get the USAC license if later in the season I have the time and availability in my schedule.
But that pretty
to race
much
some OBRA. But
yeah, then you can get it later.
Those would be the only races I would do, and I'm probably going to skip piece of cake because it's too close.
What about
to
all the cyclocross
Galveston.
stuff? You've always talked about saying, I'm going to do cyclocross this year. I'm going to do cyclocross this year.
I will wait till later in the year then to get that
sure, you
OBRA
have tons of
license.
time.
I just wouldn't get it early in the season.
What about a criterium? Are you going to do any criteriums?
So if
Bad idea. Bad idea.
Dude, I loved crit racing. This is a fun thing about crit racing for me. I loved it and was so bad at it. I was so bad at crit racing, but I loved it.
Here's another one that a lot of people haven't talked about yet because
I was about
they
to ask
don't
if-
know. The crit that is known as the Vancouver Crit.
Downtown Vancouver
Downtown
Crit? Yes.
Vancouver Crit that has been on the OBRA calendar for a lot of years, has been off the calendar for the last couple of years because there was issues with the city and yada, yada.
Parking meters.
Yes. They got it sorted out for this year, for 2020.
Gotcha.
They were trying to get it put on the OBRA calendar. They had it put on the OBRA calendar on a date that worked for the promoter and worked for the city. It was all there, set in stone. OBRA came back to them and said, oh, by the way, you're going to have to find a different date because we have something going on at the track. There's some sort of a track race or something like that.
Are they
it was on the
serious?
same day. So the promoter said, okay, take us off. Guess where they
Zone
went?
5?
Huh?
Zone 5?
Zone 5 is not the promoter.
Oh, no. So
Well-
USAC is then what they went to then.
They're on the WSBA calendar, and they are a
Which
USAC
is then under
race,
USAC, okay.
And they have since gone to Zone 5 to ask for a little bit of help on the race promotion front. So
Gotcha.
they're just going to help them put on a successful race and help them kind of navigate the waters that are USAC.
It's another, looks
So
like.
that would be the 10th race here in our backyard that is basically going over to USAC. Now, if I'm another promoter that's an OBRA promoter, I'm really going to be watching Zone 5 under a microscope. I'm not hoping that they do poorly, but I need to know how things go for them, and I need to be listening to what membership has to say.
Yeah.
And got to be asking myself, is that where I need to go in 2021 or somewhere down the road, or possibly even in 2020? I just, man, this is going to be
Looking at my personal schedule, and this is the thing is now every bike racer is going to look at because there's going to be a billion different answers out there for everybody.
Yeah.
That absolutely makes me lean towards I would just need a USAC license this season. Maybe if I decide to do cyclocross, I get an OBRA, but I mean, early or like the early season schedule then is dominated by Zone 5.
Yeah, that's the whole
Very dominated by Zone 5.
Early season for road, and early season for time trial,
entirely
early
Zone
season
5,
for gravel, and then their early season for cross too.
Yeah.
So, if I'm going to answer my own question about the OBRA versus USAC license, I'll be getting both.
Okay.
Because I'm going to go out and I'm going to do the Zone 5 races, and the OBRA stuff. Obviously, I sit on the board of directors there, and I want to support them. I also
You and
love,
Lance will probably be getting both. I'd imagine.
There's a lot of races out there that I want to do in OBRA, like the Portland short track stuff. I want to do that.
Yeah.
There's like Kings Valley and the Montanore race. I mean, I'll want to do those races. There's Portland International Race with the PIR road racing that I'll want to do.
Yep.
Our team is going to be one of the co-promoters for the Tuesday night PR stuff this year, which is going to be a lot of fun. So I need to be out there and doing that as well. So it makes good sense for me. But for the WSBA calendar, I believe it's 12 or 13. I want to say it's 12 road races on their calendar versus OBRA's 3. So if you want to do some road racing and some stage racing and all that other fun stuff, if that's your jam, you probably want to start considering, just getting that USAC license and going that direction. If you're just a road racer, if you want to find some, now you're going to have to drive a little bit more, but
Yeah.
But for a stage race, that's a pretty cool experience, right?
yeah.
I mean,
Stage races you're always driving for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no news.
So,
surprise.
well, you know what? I said that there was only 3 races on the OBRA calendar. I have to take that back. There's the Baker City stage race as well. So I guess that would be the 4th race, which you get.
That's the
4
big
different
one that I
races
think
in one weekend.
any road racer is going to still have an OBRA license this year.
Yeah.
Any serious road racer, because that is, what weekend is that again? Is that June?
It's late June, if I'm not
late
mistaken.
June, yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
well,
lots of stuff to come on that front. That's an interesting
that was the
thing.
hottest of seat questions.
Yeah. I'd be kind of curious to
Yeah.
hear from any of our listeners that do road racing outside of the Oregon area that are USAC members, what their experience is like and what value they find in their own memberships and what membership they purchased. So,
Yep.
I don't know if you guys want to jump
Chime
on the old Facebook, Bookface, and send us a message or maybe post on this post for this particular podcast and let us know. That'd be great. I'm
Yeah.
curious to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of that and into one last thing. Matt, go.
Matt, go. I don't know. I always post some videos on YouTube. I posted last week one about the Magic 5 goggles. I've got them on the desk here because I was showing Evan these goggles that custom fit your face. They're fantastic. I think I talked about them on the last podcast.
The Magic, yes.
Yeah.
I tried them on. They feel awesome, and they were even meant to be on Matt's face.
Yeah, I'm testing a whole bunch of goggles in the next couple weeks. I'm sure all of our cycling people love to hear all about goggles.
Swim
and if you
goggles.
do,
Yeah.
go check out the YouTube
It's raining
channel.
really bad. I might need to try
You
these
might
out.
need the goggles. I might do a video on the Theragun, which is like this. You probably have seen
Yeah.
like advertisements for it everywhere.
If you
which is
haven't,
that
you
big,
don't have social media.
the big gun that's like brum, 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 brum,
We're
brum.
showing that in slow motion. Your muscles
Yeah.
are just like gyrating and flopping all over the place.
I might try to whip one of those videos out pretty quickly. And then the video, and we talked about this before, the Garmin Vector Air. I'm going to talk about that in a video very soon coming up at some point. So those 3 or 4 videos are probably coming out in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Cool. Evan, one last thing.
I have nothing today as my one last thing, which is
Okay.
weird, but it's sunny outside today.
Yeah, so get
if
out.
you get off work early, go
Get
ride.
outside, ride your bike.
Yeah.
How about an update on this whole project that we've got going
The
on?
clinic.
Yeah.
The, the rubber has officially been laid down on my
Rubber's hit
side
the
of
road,
clinic.
huh?
The rubber's literally hit the road, and it is being glued Wednesday. Which I don't know a ton about rolled rubber, but I think it dries pretty quickly after that.
Yeah.
And then that is when the equipment will be coming in.
Wow.
And then from there, I will be able to give roughly a date of when things will be underway and operational.
I just want to see the place because, yeah, I have
It's
no idea.
big.
I don't even know where it is.
It's got a very tall ceiling.
Yeah.
Cool. Looks nice, I'm sure.
It'll be fun.
Yep. It's exciting. Jake's stuff will be able to be moved in soon. We're just going to keep on saying soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very soon.
We've got to stop giving definitive
I
dates
know,
because
I
that's
know.
moved probably 14 times.
I think the less definitive dates I give, the quicker it'll come. So I'm just going to say soon here.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're very excited and everything's. I mean, we are the amount of work that has gone in marketing wise and also just build wise to this early on makes it very exciting because it will be hitting the road and running right off the bat.
Yeah.
Cool.
My one last thing is a question
Yes.
for you guys.
You had a hot seat question. You had your chance.
That's my one last thing. It's a
one
question.
last thing. Hot seat question.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Doing the podcast on YouTube again.
Oh.
Streaming it once we get moved. Because for those that don't know, I have a really nice little home office that's been my working office for a long time. And we have the podcast studio set up here. But at the new facility, we've got a full-on lab, which is going to be awesome.
Yes.
And there's going to be space dedicated to kind of all of our
Things.
media stuff and
Yep.
our creative stuff. And part of that would be the YouTube.
Yep.
And part of that will be the podcast. Should we start streaming the podcast again? Do you think people enjoyed that?
I think it wasn't like a huge hit or anything like that, but I mean, I think it's nice and people can kind of just chime in, and if they're bored at work, they can chime in and watch.
I think it would be cool too, just because then we have kind of a library of the YouTube videos up there,
Sure.
and it's kind of a cool little launching pad too for just the YouTube channel in general. Which Jake is collecting a lot of very, very cool video. I know Lance is going to be a big part of that too. And there's this guy named Matt LeGrand YouTube that I think,
he sings to girls on the beach.
We could maybe link some of his videos into there too, and get him involved somehow. But
link him.
He makes good videos.
Link him.
Yeah, he knows how to fly a drone.
I know how to sing. I know how to sing to girls on the beach.
He can sing to girls on the beach and fly a drone. Those are his two skills.
So waiting for that parody video. Awesome. All right. Well, you know what? It's sunny out, guys. I think we should go outside and enjoy that. Go for a bike ride or something. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.